This question is asking, where does a circle with radius 1, also called the unit circle, intersect with both the y-axis and the x-axis? Pause your video to answer the question. It intersects with the y-axis here at 0, 1, and down here at 0, negative 1. It also intersects with the x-axis here at 1, 0, and over here at negative 1, 0. Today we're going to look at sine, cosine, and tangent values at 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and 270 degrees. If we look at this first example, we remember that sine is y over r for the point. In our case, the y value is 0, which means 0 over anything is just 0. Now, for cosine, the x value is r, and it's r over r, which is essentially just 1. So in these cases, when we're looking at this r value, and the r value here, and here, we can essentially just treat it like the unit circle, because no matter what it is, either the x value here, the y value here, or the x value here, or y value here, the r will be the same as the x or the y. So essentially, let's just treat these all like they're 1. And finally, tangent is 0 over 1, which is just 0. When we look at the 90 degrees situation, essentially sine is just your y value, cosine is your x, and tangent is y over x. The y value in this sense is 1, the x value is 0, and tangent is 1 over 0, which, of course, is undefined. For 180 degrees, the y value is 0, the x value is negative 1, and tangent would, of course, be 0 over negative 1, which just gives you 0. Pause your video so you can do the sine, cosine, and tangent of 270 degrees. For 270 degrees, the sine, the y value is negative 1, cosine is 0, and tangent is negative 1 over 0, which is, again, like 90 degrees, undefined. So to recap, for any angle that's on one of the axes, treat it like the unit circle with a radius of 1, and then sine is the y value, cosine is the x value, and then tangent is y over x. In these examples, we have to find the exact values of sine of 450, cosine of negative 270, and tangent of negative 630. And the first thing we need to do is find the reference angle. So for sine of 450, since that's above 360 degrees, it means it goes around more than once, which means let's subtract 360. When you subtract 360 from 450, you're left with sine of 90 degrees. Now, quick reminder, 90 degrees would go right here, and that meets at the point 0, 1. And for sine, we're looking at the y value. So, sine of 90 just equals 1. Now, cosine of negative 270, which means you go clockwise 270 degrees and end up here. So, again, that's 90 degrees. So, the reference angle for this is essentially just 90 degrees for cosine. And at the point 0, 1 for the unit circle, we're using the x value for cosine. So cosine of 90 degrees just equals 0. Now, tangent of negative 630 is bigger than 360 degrees. So the first thing we should do is take away one of those rotations. If you get rid of 360 degrees worth of that, you're left with tangent of negative 270, which we just saw earlier that negative 270 is the same thing as 90 degrees. So essentially what you want to do is you put sine over cosine, and you get 1 over 0. Since you can't divide by 0, tangent of 90 degrees is undefined.